Welcome. Hey, Mr. Ambrose.
Hello.
Hello, Tony.
How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, Sabrina.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Excited to see what you have to show me today.
Oh, good. We have lots to show you. We think it's great.
So while we're waiting to start, if this is your first math session, please feel free to stay. But if you have attended one of the other math sessions, either 6th grade, 7th, or 8th grade, it's intended for you to attend one session of SEL, one session of tech, and 2 content sessions, but they both don't need to be math. Our math team 6 through 8 work together on the PD. So the only difference that you would see between like a 7th and 8th grade would be just the problems that we're going to work on. But the PD itself is roughly the same. So if you have already attended one of the other math sessions, you don't have to attend this one here. But we do recommend for you to sign up for a science, a history, or an ELA session, and that would take the 2 content sessions that are available. And then as a reminder, if you don't mind changing your name to your first and last name, as we would know you BCSD, that's really easily can be changed in participants.
I noticed too, like if you're logged in through your Gmail, sometimes it's a bit tough to access some of the items that we might have you look at later. So just letting you know, because I've been noticing that on a couple of sessions.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
How are we doing with numbers, Tony? Does it look like most everybody's in?
We're getting there. We're at 27, it looks like, and we have 31 registered.
Oh, okay. We'll just.
Did your music stop, Alyssa?
You know what? It did, because you guys started talking, and then I was like, oh, I guess we're going to start. I got us, though, but I'm going to try not to dance because I tend to be like.
I think that's the most entertaining part when we're waiting, is the dancing that comes along with listening to the music. Hey.
I am not a dancer, though.
I'm not either, but hey.
I can lip sync, though. See?
So we thank you for being here on time. We're just giving everyone enough time to be here because I know some people are coming back from lunch right now, and so.
Or finishing up. Is there?
Not
No,
in this one.
no,
This
never
one
mind.
actually they get a break. But as soon as you get used to the break, you have to run back, and I get it. I've been there.
Oh yeah.
So I don't see any more in the waiting room. It's been a couple minutes.
Let's go ahead and get started then. Alyssa, just know if at the beginning, if anybody else comes in, just jot down.
Okay, I will try because I'm not too sure if I'm co-host and I can see people in the waiting room because I didn't see that yesterday. But let me know and I will work it
It'll
out.
pop up, Ruth. We'll
Okay,
manage.
we got it. Okay.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for our virtual Summer Institute 6th grade math. Ruth mentioned if you attended another math session previously, this is going to be pretty much the same thing except for the lesson that's covered is a 6th grade lesson. We are going to start with a message from Mr. Lukey. So if you've attended a session, you've probably already seen this, but if this is your first session for the for the virtual Summer Institute, then each session is starting with his message. So let me get this going.
Can you guys hear it?
No sound.
Okay, let me pause it. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. That is my fault. Let's go. Can you hear it now? No?
I think you have to.
Yes,
Thank all of you for joining us this
when we
week
were fighting for
and
the
willing to
control.
learn with us as we lean into a new year of learning with our students. This is not the instructional program that we had hoped to accomplish this year in terms of our students starting the year in a virtual format. But I believe that together we will build a strong instructional program to support the students of our district. So I want to speak a little bit about the importance of this week's learning with respect to our instructional program and emphasize a couple of key points for us before we start today. First and foremost, I'd like to emphasize the importance of understanding what the state is requiring of school districts this year, in that there are a set number of instructional minutes that we must adhere to. It is our goal that through the virtual nature of our instructional program over the first quarter, that we can rise above and beyond those minimum minutes, ensuring that our students receive ample in-person to the best of our ability instruction, meaning synchronous learning, where we are zooming in with our students online, supporting them, teaching them, equipping them with the skills to be successful in this virtual format. And then we are also balancing that with what we call asynchronous time, where we are assigning kids to complete assignments through many of our instructional tools and resources, while we as teachers and educators work in small groups with students who simply need more time with intervention. And so you are going to receive a lot of information from our instructional services support team. You are going to receive a lot of tools and resources to support you with the instructional design of our program for this year. Just know that we're in this together. Let's support each other. Let's be there for each other, and let's work together to make the very best and strongest instructional program for our students. So once again, thank you very much. I look forward to learning with you this week, and I look forward to a successful school year. Thank you.
Alrighty, so this is just an introduction to the 6th-8th math PLC team who worked on the resources you'll see for math. So with me today, and I'm Tony Carter, sorry for those of you who may not know me, and with me today I have Ruth Villalobos and Alyssa Villarreal.
Hello.
Hi.
And then we also have some representatives on the team from Stern, Sequoia, Hilda from the district office. So our time today, we're going to cover our typical PD norms, our core priorities, learning intentions. We'll get into the math behaviors. We will share with you a key essential standards document that was created. Alyssa and Ruth will walk you through a model lesson for 6th grade. We will visit the EdTech Center, which will house all of the virtual learning lessons that you will need. And then lastly, we will end with our exit ticket, which will consist of the evaluation and sign out. We have some new norms for our virtual PD format. We ask that you remain on mute. The session is recorded, so in that EdTech Center at a later time, if you didn't get to attend a session or if there's something you wanted to revisit, all of these PDs will be uploaded there. We ask that you take advantage of the group chat. The girls and I will be monitoring that throughout the training. So if there's something we can answer quickly in the chat, we will, or if we need to address whole group, we will. But again, ask away, use the chat. We ask for your patience, please. Since this is a new format for us, we will encounter some tech difficulties, but so far it's been, I'm gonna knock on some wood here, but so far it's been pretty good. But we just ask for some grace and be positive. This is a new learning curve for all of us. Some of us may be tech savvy, some of us may not be. So again, just be positive and know that we're all here working through this together, and you know, we'll get through this hard time together. So the sign out, it will be a separate link from our traditional evaluation, which will be posted in the chat about 10 minutes prior to the session ending. So you will need to make sure you complete that. That's going to be the same as if you were physically signing out. So for accounting purposes, you want to make sure that you're getting your sign out completed. We're going to post in the chat the link. This is the digital parking lot. So some questions, if it's pertaining to what we're showing you here, we will be able to answer as best as we can, but some of those concerns you may have are more related to someone from the district responding. So here you can see from previous sessions some questions and concerns, whether it's what supplies, if any, are the students going to get? How are they going to get those? So again, anything, you can just keep this up, drop it in there.
Alyssa, if you don't mind linking that parking lot in the chat. You might have already done it, I just can't see it. Thank you.
Yes, it's right there in the chat. Thank you. So our BCSD core priorities haven't changed. We're a culture of collective efficacy, a culture of teaching and learning, a culture of student-centered schools, and a culture of access and inclusion to ensure a multi-tiered system of supports for all students. So our priorities for the year haven't changed. How we're going to reach those goals and, you know, provide services to our students, that's the only difference. So our learning intentions, we're going to show you the lesson design. So as I mentioned, we started with our key essential standards. From there, we designed 4 weeks of lessons for you. So we're going to walk you through that so you can see that they do include a balanced approach, which utilize the math behaviors that we've gone over. And our success criteria, we're going to know we're successful when we can navigate and deliver rich mathematical instruction that will promote mathematical learning, belief, and behaviors where students can thrive in mathematics regardless of the environment or their setting. So we are going to introduce you to different platforms that you can use to engage your students. One of them is Jamboard. Alyssa dropped the link to this Jamboard in the chat. So we're going to ask that you go to that link and you're going to go to our 6th grade Jamboard. So this is our Jamboard from the previous day. Everybody just dropped in a Post-it. You're going to include your name, how long you've been with BCSD, your site, and one thing that makes you happy. So the little square here under the arrow, you're just going to click on that. It'll pull up a sticky note here. You'll just type in your message, and once you hit save, it'll populate onto our Jamboard here. So we're going to want to be on page 2. If yours doesn't automatically take you there, if you could click this arrow. So if you're coming to this page here, just click this arrow here on the right. So we're going to take some time. If you can, again, click here to the left on the sticky note. And you're going to tell us your name, your site, how long you've been with BCSD, and one thing that makes you happy.
So my name is Alyssa, and I will be a 6th grade teacher at MLK. This will be my 7th year as a teacher, probably about my 10th year with BCSD. And one thing that makes me happy is being out in nature, like around trees and mountains and all of that lovely stuff. But lately, unfortunately, I had surgery on my foot, so I've been kind of confined extra in quarantine, if you want to take it like that. So it hasn't been as much, but that is something that actually makes my heart very happy.
And I am Ruth Villalobos. I am an academic coach at Sequoia Middle School. I've been there since 2007, so do the math. Not going to tell you which year I started. Actually, student taught there, 2006, 2007 school year. And then I got hired to stay on that next year. So I've been there for a while. And then my one little passion outside of, being stuck at home with my family all the time, Color Street. So if you know me outside of just BCSD, I do some of that on the side. But thank you. Look, I see a lot of other names populating there.
So we have Brittany from downtown, her 2nd year teaching. She loves being outdoors. Alyssa, there's your girl.
Mm-hmm.
We have Connor, been with BCSD for about 4 years at Franklin. Loves taking care of his house plants. I wish.
Can you come over and help me with mine?
Yeah. Let's see. We have Hannah, From Harris, 4th year, loves spending time with her kids. So we have April, academic coach for special education, 6 years with BCSD. So I see you said running makes you happy. So I'm not going to go as far. I'm going to give a little side note. I by no means am a runner, but I took up consistently walking, and I've been more so jogging lately, but I ended up getting sun damage, and I attribute it to my increased physical activity. So over quarantine last month, I had to have eye surgery and all this nonsense. And so like, look, before I started my jogging, I didn't have any sun damage on my eyes. So I see Sabrina, 6th grade at Fremont. I can't believe it's already been 4 years, Sabrina. Spending time with her family and traveling. Yes, I always see your pictures. Looks so fun. So again, this is just a little introduction to another platform that you may or may not be familiar with that you can use to engage with your students. You can change the background. You can see here we have our grid paper, graph paper. You can change the background, but it was, you know, just something quick and easy, very simple to use.
You could use it to draw onto the little tool at the bottom there. So you could actually use this as your graph paper when you're doing things with your students. Pretty cool.
See Cassie from Longfellow. Some of these are hard to read.
They're so tiny.
Okay, so thank you for sharing with us.
All right, so I think we are going to move on to math behaviors. So in previous summer institutes, we have actually gone in and looked at these closely. And so actually, can I have Tony or Alyssa, can you please share the link to this in the chat? What we're going to do is we're going to dive in just a little bit deep into the student math behaviors. And so if you notice, these are aligned to the mathematical practice. So you see, and I'm going to zoom this in so you can see it a little bit closer. All right, there we go. So you can see some of these mathematical practices and then what they look like. So the perseverance, you know, ask clarifying questions. They're able to explain the meanings of problems. When we're looking at the construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others, that means being able to justify those solutions, listening to others, and trying to understand their reasoning behind that. So these are some of the different ways that we can elicit that student thinking through the math behaviors. So I'm going to put my timer on. So Alyssa, I know you weren't expecting this, but if you don't mind putting some music on while we wait for the timer to go, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to kind of look through, pick one that you want to talk about, because we are going to have you answer a question on Padlet. And so before I let you do that, I'm going to go ahead and let you look at the question, because I want you to think about what you're going to be writing or what you're looking for. It says, what have you used to draw out math behaviors in your students? So knowing that we have these math behaviors, what are some ways that you have elicited this from your students? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer now. Go ahead, Alyssa, if you don't mind playing that music. All right. So give me a thumbs up if you have a good idea so I can show you what we can do for the half. I'm thinking that you guys have had enough time. So if I see enough thumbs up, we can move on and I can show you what we're doing next. Okay, I see 3 thumbs up, 4. Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to go ahead and pause it and I'll give you the next minute to do the next part, okay? So we're here with our presentation. Here are the math behaviors. What I would like for you to do is to go ahead and go into Padlet, and then hopefully one of the girls can drop the link to that. And Padlet is very similar to, let me see, did we clear it? We're just going to go ahead and add to it. So this was some of the ideas that they had shared yesterday, but we're going to add to it, but we're going to go a little bit deeper than what they did yesterday. And I want you to match it to one of the mathematical practices or math behaviors that we were just looking at. And the easy way you can do this, do you notice that there's something missing on all of these names, right? So when you hit on the little plus or the little pencil at the bottom, it populates a little window, and that's basically your sticky note. The title, this is a perfect way for you to go ahead and, hey, you can ask your students, hey, please type your name as your title. This is how I know it's you. And then you can go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and say mathematical practice number, I think it was 3. And then just say justify. Oy, I can't even see what I'm doing. Justify through different means and can be done virtually. So that's one simple example there. So I want you to go ahead and add what practice do you think or math behavior, it doesn't have to identify just the one mathematical practice, but what mathematical behavior do you think can elicit that thinking and have you draw out some of the students thinking through that process, okay? So go ahead, and I'm gonna give you some time. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the timer again. So there's a minute left. The link is ready, so if you are there, just go ahead and start creating, add your name, and then match a math behavior with maybe something you're currently doing with your students that elicits that those math behaviors. Thank you, Lisa. So that was the minute. I'm gonna go ahead and let you finish your thoughts. I'm gonna start looking. Okay, so I'm gonna call out something about Padlet that's not the same for Jamboard. Jamboard, you can easily clear the screen or add a page on there. Padlet doesn't do that as easily. You'd have to link something new. And then do you guys see the update? I would have to hit the update to see the new populated items there. Just know these are all things you can think about when you are in your virtual classroom to, you know, make those final decisions on how you're going to move forward, and then maybe what app works better for what the purpose of your activity is. But let's call out some of those things. Oh, I love it. So let's see. April, she's like represent concepts, utilizing virtual math manipulatives found. Ooh, I like it. Thank you. That's an added resource, guys. mathlearningcenter.org. There it is. And then we have Mr. S, number talks, math tasks, estimation, decimal activities. Yes, all of that. And really, that hits all the behaviors, right? Perfect. I love it. Any that stand out for anybody else? Ooh, Noemi. We have the CRA and Flipgrid. There we go. Those are one of my faves. I'm not going to lie. Those are it. I love it. Look at Al. And I know who that is. That's Alex Ander. Salem. Says multiple students can work on a Jamboard, each with their own slide. They should have, oh, I didn't even think about that. Thank you. Yes, that's our tech savvy guy there. FYI, if you have additional tech questions, he is our guru. Anything else that stands out for anybody, Tony or Alyssa?
Well, it's funny because I did read Al's because his is the one that's on top, but I do see that somebody mentioned creating those viable arguments through manipulative. So if we continue to use that CRA model, or just even having them use hands-on tools, which we'll talk about how we're going to try that out virtually, but just really eliciting that thinking and creating those viable arguments. Here is why I am saying this math equation works, because I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to show you literally right here, friend, why my answer is the correct answer. So I really do think hands-on and using stuff really helps put that picture in visually for the kiddos.
Yes, perfect. So there was another example, like I said, there's different platforms that we can use. This is only one that's available, but you saw, you were able to see Jamboard, now Padlet, but we want to go ahead and still think of different ways we can virtually elicit that student thinking. So I know that in May, we had a training, and actually I was lucky enough to attend it with Hilda, and I think Alyssa, you were there too when we attended the same one. And they actually dived into how we can use Flipgrid to elicit some of that student thinking, and being able to get their different ways of thinking and justifying their answer. And I believe in that training, we saw a student, a young lady that actually used a multiple representation to justify the answer for what they were trying to do in Flipgrid. So just know, those are all things that we can still do virtually that will continue to elicit the student thinking, and it's evidence of it. So it justifies that we're doing what's still practice from the principles to action that we did before, but now virtually can still be done. Okay. All right. So key essential standards. Yes. You guys ready to do some breakout room stuff? All right. So here's what you're going to do. And I don't know if they're dropping. Okay, perfect. So the link is dropped there. I'm going to let you know what you're going to do in just a minute. So give me a second. You're going to go ahead and go to the link. Once you get there, let it load. It will bookmark you to the math section. That whole key essential standards has ELA and math. If you click it, be patient. It will slowly take you to math once it loads to it, okay? All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna skim through it really quick, look at it. I want you to notice what are 3 components in that document that you can use, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and give you 4 minutes. You think 4 minutes is long enough? So I'm gonna go ahead and break you out into groups. And then when we do that, you're going to go into your group. By this time, you're looking through the document and be ready to share with your group and be able to identify 3 components in that document. Okay? All righty. Let me go ahead and break you out. All right, click the blue button, okay? We'll be inviting you to go to your breakout. Okay, Nicole and Miranda, make sure you click the blue button. That will take you to your breakout.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the breakout room. I was just kind of chilling with you to see who else would be left.
Perfect.
Okay. Do we, I was gonna tell you, if you can you make me a co-host?
Okay, yeah, I'll do
That way
that
I
right now.
can help, or if there's anything else extra, just in case. Okay, bye.
All right. Miranda, if you get a second, go ahead and click on the blue button. There we go. All right, as we're coming back, just know that the breakout rooms are not recorded at all. So did you hear the message? Once you came back, then the recording begins once we are here. So that's something to think about. We're waiting for everybody else to come back. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again. And then as everybody else has come back, take a look at these little quotes here. Have a little bit of a mindful moment.
Cool. Yay.
So I think we're all back and we're just gonna take an extra minute or two. Not even, I don't think you guys need that. Just mindful moment and read these quotes and see what you think. If you want to add anything or share something, the chat would be a great place for you to kind of debrief what your thoughts are on these quotes here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Alyssa, let me give you remote control access here. There you go.
Cool, awesome. So thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. Obviously, some of us have had sessions since this morning at 8 a.m. Some of you, this is your first one. So we just want to say thank you all for hanging out with us. And on this presentation, we will not be giving you the presentation link until the very end, but you will have access to an article. And so this article is linked up here on the title, How Can Educators Tap into Research to Increase Engagement? And so basically what we want is communication, connection, and relationship. And how are we going to do that? How can I do that? How can I, as a teacher, do that virtually? So of course we have so many different ways. The tech team put together the Tech Ed Center, which has virtual how-tos on how to kind of work out screen pacifier, Zoom. As some of you know, we've done some Flipgrids before, and just really having that idea with everybody that we can actually try this out. So something that I noticed, a couple things that stood out to me was even just the idea of parades and chalk writing and book readings together. And I thought, you know what, that is so true, because if many of you participated in the parades with your school, it was a whole different feeling, right? It was just like, it's those relationships that you have with the kids, but now you're seeing them from far away. And it was kind of weird, but I loved it because the kids were so happy and excited, and they ran out and they had posters and, you know, everything. So it really is as simple as that, to, of course, your emails, making phone calls, having some reminders, having your Google Classrooms up. Some of my favorites, of course, are group assignments. We know when we get into breakouts, even now, I don't know about you guys, but like some of us can be talkers and we get excited, and but then we take it into work, and then you have student leaders. So it is basically what we already do. So the article is just enhancing that and giving you some more ideas in terms of, hey, try this, right? So I clicked it. Move from,
You're good.
okay, one more time. Yay, there we go. So obviously, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard, so many TLT teams work together. About 60 different teachers on so many different subjects came together to kind of work to help build a floorboard for us teachers as we begin the school year. Because obviously during this time of a pandemic, we are all feeling very stressed. And no matter how much makeup I put on, I'm still stressed. So, you know, it's kind of like a really good floorboard to just, oh, okay, ELA put some stuff together. Oh my gosh, the tech people have some videos for me. I feel so great about that. So as you can see here, we have put together some lessons for math. So we are not changing anything. We're taking what's already in the unit, some of the plans and lessons that have already put together, and running with it. So if you have already been teaching 6th grade, then you already know, you're familiar with these lessons already. If you're new to 6th grade and you came from a different grade, you can still have the idea of how the units work because you taught a different grade, and it's the same flow. If you are a brand new teacher, it's all here for you. So we wanted to let all different types of teacher backgrounds have that ability to just jump right in. And also you will have autonomy as well, because we want you to change these up. If you are like, oh, that's cool what they created, but I have my own, or I found out a really cool way to do this, so I'm going to add it in there. Great, because that is what you want to do. You want to have your autonomy. Within the lessons, you will find some presentations that are kind of like for the day, what we have here. Kind of like what we have here, a presentation, right? And so, hold on, wait, I don't know what happened. It went back. What happened? Okay, of course we have a suggested learning intention and success criteria, but you and your PLC can come together and create your own or work on that if you would like. We have vocabulary, we have actual lessons, we have introductions. Intro is kind of like a warm-up, so we have some number talks in there. We have some estimation 180. Sometimes I would just put just a picture, something mathy, and they would have to like figure it out, and it was so much fun. So just something to kind of get them engaged, right? And we have some resources as well. So what we are going to do next is that's going to be a perfect segue with Ruth, because Ruth right now is going to kind of show us the very beginning of what the first a lesson of what the first 2 weeks kind of entails. Of course, we know the first 3 days will be the week of iMath, and now we will have some lessons in place. So she's going to talk about that. I will drop the link to this presentation, the 6th grade lesson presentation, so you can kind of go through it, because when you're working with me, you will have to click some link. However, just try to follow us, because what we are finding out from a lot of people is when they pull up their own they pull up the presentation, and then they're trying to match here, and they're getting confused. Not just me when I'm attending sessions. So just, it's up to you, but we definitely suggest just kind of following along with us, okay? All right.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take over for a minute. I'm going to stay out of presentation mode because the section that I'm going to show you is an overview of what that 5th grade standard integration looks like for 6th grade. And I'm glad that I visited every group in the breakout and everybody's pointed out that, hey, we're touching on 5th grade standards. So as many of you know, we did not complete the school year as it would have if we were in person in school, right? So some of our kids are already coming in with additional gaps missing from 5th grade. So our thoughts here, and this was a collaborative decision here, is to integrate the 5th grade standards, but we're not just focusing on 5th grade standards because we understand they're 6th graders now, right? So we're going to go ahead and integrate whatever was missing and then integrate it to what becomes a 6th grade standard. And we're going to show you that today. So to start off, we have the 5OA3, which is operations and algebraic thinking. And this is the sequence that you'll see on most of the lessons. So we wanted to run through them. Usually is a title page and then those weekly resources. In this particular one, there's number talks, learn zillion videos, frameworks, all the things that you see listed there. They're all linked here. They're also linked on the page that Alyssa showed you that had the whole review. So just know it's just 2 ways of accessing the information. And then when we hit on the EdTech site, you'll see how that looks like for you to be able to have access to them. All right, so in this particular lesson, we do a number talks, and just in case that your students have not been exposed to number talks or they're not as familiar, or maybe you're still trying out the number talks, it's a quick slide that kind of goes over what the expectations for number talks are, what you need to do, and how to prep them. And then we have the questions. So if you know number talks, you kind of want to elicit them to be able to think, to be able then to justify their answers and be able to talk through the reasoning on why they chose the answer. And number talks, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just the justification and be able to describe what their thinking is. Okay, so for this particular one, it's a dots. They look at the dots and they not necessarily just count them, but it's how did they see them? And it's getting them comfortable to share. I'm going to be honest, there's so many ways you can do this. You can do this virtually, where you can use the whiteboard with Zoom and be able to click there. I've seen other teachers that have like a writing tablet and they open up Paint and they jot down what the students are thinking. I've seen old school through Zoom, chart paper, and marking it with the pen. There's nothing wrong with that. You choose how you're going to move forward in this virtual learning situation that we're all being placed in this year. So we're trying to give you everything that that we can and we think could still work virtually, okay? All right, so there's the quick warm-up. And then we move into what's Module 1, Lesson 2. So this is the second lesson in Module 1. Module 1 are the 2 weeks of review, okay? And so it goes from Lesson 1 to 10. And so coordinate plane, we kind of talk about the vocabulary. Remember, they haven't seen much of this at all. And so what's a coordinate plane, the origin, all the important information. I think what's key here is that we try to stay color coded to help the students make those connections, okay? So if you notice here, the X and Y coordinates are color coded here. And then when we come to what we are considering this as our virtual anchored chart, it's still consistent with that color coding. Because if you know, students have a hard time at the beginning understanding between the X and the Y and which one comes first and how it looks. So this is a good, consistent way for them to see the two. Also, if you look in the speaker notes, there are suggested, remember this is all suggested, you can tweak it, add to it, take things out of it and substitute it with something that you do that you're more comfortable with. But there are suggested teaching notes, I guess we can call them. This could be an easy one where you can once again bring out your own chart paper and chart it for them. You can actually use a Jamboard and start adding that information there. You see how the graph paper is there. You choose how you're going to do this, but it's a suggested anchor chart, direct instruction, just going over what it is, okay? And then we go to slide 12, which is more modeling and teaching the explaining of how to locate the ordered pair. Now, this is where the perfect connection comes in. 5th grade standard only deals with quadrant 1. Are we looking at just quadrant 1? No, we're taking it to 6th grade level, because at this point, there's no point in me wasting a whole day on one quadrant, where in 6th grade, they need to know the whole picture. So this is how 5th grade standard is being integrated to what the expectation is for 6th grade, and we're taking advantage of it, okay? So we're taking it slow, but we're giving them just a little bit more to prep them for what's coming, okay? So here's how to locate an ordered pair on a graph using the whole coordinate plane, not just quadrant 1. It goes through some suggested steps on how to explain to them. And then we go to slide 13. This is more of a guided practice, or that's what we're thinking. You can actually have them break into breakout rooms and have them do that individually. You can actually dump it into a Google Classroom and assign it in different groups and smaller groups, and then you can check in with them. There's all sorts of things that you can do. And once again, you have that autonomy to decide how you're going to go ahead and utilize this, but we wanted to give you something that was already done and ready for you to go. So here we're thinking guided. Maybe they can work on the breakout rooms, come back, let's discuss. Maybe there's 4 groups, and within those 4 groups, each one has to come back with one of the ordered pairs and a representative that can explain how they did it, okay? And then we go to slide 14, and that's straight up independent practice, however you choose to do it. Once again, it could be a simple assignment that you assign on Google Classroom. You can make a copy of this slide and add it as a separate assignment. It's really up to you how you want to go ahead and introduce this to your students. But that's a simple lesson, quick little 10-minute review of what that would look like. And it's an integrated, because even though it's labeled 5th grade standard, you guys know that's a 6th grade standard right there. Going through the whole coordinate plane and being able to look at the whole picture, that's 6th grade. So we took it there. Why? Because we cannot waste any time, especially with the amount of time that we're going to have with them actually through Zoom or however it is that you meet with your kids. But now we get to put you in the student seat. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and share with Alyssa again. Let me go ahead and give you access to my mouse, and there you go, girl.
First off, did you guys even know you could take over someone else's screen on Zoom? Because we figured that out. So like right now, Ruth is sharing her screen, but she gave me control to take over. Isn't that crazy? Okay, anyways, I just thought it was really cool. So if you didn't know that, some of you, if you may have a tutor or a student teacher, because this will be another year I'll have a tutor, and I was thinking, oh, this will be perfect. If we have to teach virtually, she could totally take over my screen. So FYI, just so that you guys know. So now we're going to dive into a 6th grade lesson, and it's the first one. Okay, so it's going to be the first one. And what we're going to do is we're going to just try it out. So we're going to get up, and here's what I'm going to ask for you all to have, okay? So I would like for you to, let me just double check, find for me, okay, so we're going to work on ratios, sorry. Module 2, lesson 1 is about ratios. So as I mentioned earlier, some of you have been teaching 6th grade and already know that we start with ratios, or some of you who are new to 6th grade, now you know. We are teaching and starting with ratios and proportions. And today's resources, we're going to use the CRA model, which I heard a lot of you talk about it, which is cool. Number Pieces, which is a website that we can use. We're going to use Flipgrid, and of course you have access to the unit. And a ratio compares how much of one thing there is to another. They form a relationship. So you want to go ahead and, I'm so sorry, Ruth, can you, or Tony, can you tell me where I have them grab their items? Because I can't see it. Remember how I have them?
It would be right now, right before you got started.
Okay,
You're
perfect.
good.
And you know what? Here's what I want to no, you guys, this is cool because we started this and this was kind of new, so we wanted to have fun, okay? So I was right. So here's the deal. Ready? You are my kiddos, and I want to tell you guys this. Hey, get up. You go find one blank piece of paper, whether if it is white paper or lined paper. Find two colored utensils, tools, okay, to write with. So either markers or pencils, colored pencils or pens. And my favorite, are you guys ready? Find some swag. So we are going to have you turn your video on at some point. Find some swag from your school. A cup, a shirt. Yesterday we had Lemoquan. She had her hat on. She put on a Cataloma hat. We had, I mean, there's all kinds of different, your lanyard, whatever. So we're going to give you a 2-minute break because I think we need a break. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes and we will come back, okay? So basically, we're just gonna, I'm not gonna dive into the lesson. Find your writing utensils, 2 colors. I want 2 colors and blank paper and some swag. 2 minutes, we'll come back at 2:06. Hi, Wendy. I just saw your message. What you will need is 2 colored writing utensils, whether if it's markers or pencils or pens. And you will need a blank piece of paper, whether if it's white or lined, and some swag from your school. Any swag that you might have from your school. And then we can ask for you to turn on your video so you can show off your swag. I hope that helps.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Salem. What does he put on there? The little.
Okay, we are so excited about this. So let's take a look and let's see. So I totally see Salem has some connected pieces, like
I
puzzle.
think that's a BCSD. He just switched. It's kind of unfair. He just left our school because we became from middle school to just junior high. So our 6th grade had to move. And I think he's going to Sierra, so I don't think he has any swag yet.
Oh, he is going to Sierra. That's right. Okay, so let's see. Cassandra Hobbs has, yeah, Longfellow Elementary. That's where I started my student teaching. I remember you. Aw.
That's where I first met you, Alyssa.
Girl, we met at Stern when we were little. Come on.
Professionally. Not when you were a crazy teenager.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see. We see a lot of shirts. I see the Falcons, Franklin. Ooh, April Fox. What is that? Is that a certificate?
It's an ID badge.
Oh, cool.
From special ed department.
Nice. There you guys go. Oh, you guys are too cool.
Jeanette Bell said her video's not working, but I'm sure she's repping her Poly Pride.
Oh, no. Well, Nicholas, he actually has an Eisler shirt on. So he's like literally repping. He has
I went in and changed my shirt just like that. Because I'm at home, so I can do things like that.
Oh, I
That's
know,
right.
right? Well, hopefully all of you guys have something. I have my new polo shirt, which I really don't even know if it fits. I haven't even like tried it on yet. So let's hope I haven't, what is it, gained that 15 in quarantine or whatever. Okay, you guys, good. I'm glad we got to have like a little quick break and something fun to do, you know, and you can do this with your kiddos, even if it's just everybody get up and go find a ball or get up and, you know, just something.
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, scavenger hunt. So, okay, so now I'm going to get started with my lesson, which now this makes more sense. I don't know what happened. So we're going to start with ratios, okay? And as I was talking and mentioning earlier, we are going to kind of dive into this. And sorry, I kind of keep having like the hiccups. I apologize. So a ratio compares how much of one thing there is to another, and they form a relationship. So as a teacher, I definitely want to let them know that we are just exploring right now. I am not having them do anything. I am not having them, I'm not teaching like legit the math. I'm not doing any of that. Right now we are doing the CRA model and we're going to explore because I really want you to see that they are a relationship. So for example, for every 2 apples, there are 3 oranges. And that's the relationship and the pattern that's going to be consistent when I go to Food Max, okay? The amount of apples and oranges that they have is about 2. For every 2 apples, they have 3 oranges. So they tend to have more oranges, okay? And when we are talking or when we are processing the idea of ratios, I'm going to use for every blank, there are a blank. Or you can say, there are 2 apples for every 3 oranges. So I'm giving my students about 2 sentence frames and that's it. I don't like to overwhelm them with too many, but as long as they're just kind of verbally just kind of having that idea of what a ratio is. All right. There we go. So we're going to dive into the CRA model, and I'm going to just read these corners, these parts right here, because I like for my kiddos to really know what they're doing without saying, here's what you're going to do, right? Because we don't like to say that too much. So today we will explore what ratios are by interacting with virtual tools. We will create ratios and learn how to write them in different formats. We will follow what is known as a CRA model, where we explore, draw, and write the problem. So it kind of condenses a little bit. They're going to be using virtual tools. They're going to learn how to write some ratios, and we're going to explore with the CRA. Now, this CRA model is in the unit. So on here, it is linked to the unit, but it's on page 9. So you kind of have to scroll to page 9. Just a quick reference, the CRA stands for concrete, which is something hands-on, but it's a manipulative. So when I presented CRA last year, I kept saying that manipulatives are meant to be manipulated. I could use the asphalt outside. I can use markers right now. I can use cups. So if anything, virtually, this will work because that's the idea, is saying something concrete, you manipulate it to be anything you want. So we're going to practice that today. Concrete representational is going to be how you're drawing it out. So if I said, I don't know, don't laugh at me, okay, because I have 2 cups. But, you know, so for every mug, I have about 2 glasses, let's say. So for every mug, I have 2 glass cups, okay? So I am going to draw it, which is kind of fun. So then now for representational, the kids can actually draw a mug. They can put the flowers on it. They can draw one, or glass cups, whatever they have. Okay, mine is fancy, you guys. Look at this. I like Disney, and my friend made this for me, so whatever. But imagine if I can actually draw that, right? So 2 cups, one with the Disney thing, one with something else, and mugs. So now they're just putting it into representational format by drawing it, okay? And the last piece is abstract, which is the math portion, and that's our math or the math representation of it, okay? So here is where I wanted you to go grab your items and get everything done. So now we have it, which is fun, but we moved it to the beginning because we realized we kind of all needed to move around a little bit, right? Because we know it's the middle of the day. So we have that. Okay, so please bear with me because I want to share a couple of things with you, and I'm going to go over it with a video. Now, oh my goodness, one of our colleagues, hold on, I'm going to find out right now. I know, I knew it was you. Okay, Stephen Langley, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, but he put on the chat a website called like DIDAX, Didax or DDAX. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's a website where you can access virtual tools. So such as the Unifix cubes, or I was playing with it and I got very sidetracked because I went to their group. I was like, this is really, really cool. So there's all kinds of different formats that you can interact with. So this will be perfect for kiddos. So if you write that down, just DIDAX, because I'm going to show you one, but his website, or the website he found, also has a bunch. Okay, and he just added it again one more time. Thanks, buddy. That's really cool. So again, we know they don't have everything in front of them, right? That lovely big math kit that sometimes would just stay underneath our tables at work or just in the corner, but it had all of these items, right? And now we're like, at least for me, I don't want to say we, but now I'm like, man, I wish I had that now, or I wish they had it. So now instead we have to figure it out virtually. So Number Pieces is a website. Some may have used it, some may have not. This is something that I was trying out that I had never known about, so it's really cool. I'm going to play this video, and sorry, I need to close. Okay, so I'm going to play this video, and it is silent. There's no sound. It is attached to the presentation, so if you ever need to go back and reference it, you can watch what I do, okay? So on Number Pieces, it is very simple. There is really nothing to it. Oops, my bad. I was trying to play the video.
There you go.
Okay, so something that I want to show you first and foremost is that you can type. So if you see here at the very bottom, you'll find out in a little bit, there's a T, and I typed in concrete because this is me going to show off the concrete portion. I just want to say that CRA model, what it asked was, for one Unifix rod of 10, can you fit it looks like 4. Can you fit 2 equal pieces within that 10, right? So basically it's 10 divided by 2. So I'm showing that. I'm showing 1 yellow rod for 2 red ones, kind of, okay? So that's kind of what I'm showing off here a little bit. And the CRA model asks for Cuisenaire rods. So of course we don't have Cuisenaire rods, but this looks very similar to it. You can place this vertically or horizontally. And something cool I want to say, but see, each time I pause it, it kind of blocks it. When you click, just follow my video next time too, you can see, but when you click on the square, the very bottom, there's a red mark or different colors that you can change it to. So I changed it to red. And if you notice, I duplicated all of them. There's at the bottom, there's a little like a copy, a square within a square. So I duplicated all of them and I changed their color, okay? So now I'm moving them side by side. However, they are not linked together. So I need to go back and make sure to link them. So you will see that. So right here, I duplicated, and then I'm going to bring them together. Oh, but they are not together. So what I need to do is I need to form a circle around it and make sure the circle is closed and they highlight blue. Then at the bottom, I clicked the linking. It'll tell you too when you hover over it, linking. So now I'm circling, turn blue, go to the bottom, click link pieces. Now I can move them. See how I can move them together? What I wanted to make sure was, oh, I don't want to put them together, so I separated it. I don't want them together because then the students will think, oh, it's 1-to-1, right? 1 yellow rod to 1 red one. No, I wanted the idea of that 2 equal pieces can fit, okay? Now, before we move on to the next part of that video, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like when it's done. So today we're going to use paper, but if you want, you could have your students create this on a Google document. So here is an example of concrete, right? So I created this in number pieces. I took a screenshot of it. They could add it to a Google document. They can type in concrete and they can say, for the concrete, I interacted with a virtual tool called number pieces, and here is my result, okay? And of course, representational. So now they're gonna draw it, right? So in your Google document, maybe you can find a fancy way. Again, we're all learning how to do all this, where they could draw it. I know that there's Google drawings too. But just to keep it all nice and clean, you could have them write their concrete, mine is blank, okay? You could have them write concrete and then you could have them draw it, okay? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I try my best to draw it, okay? I don't know why I cannot get 2 equal reds. I do have a degree in art history, but not art, okay? Obviously. So, and also too, I don't know what happened, but I threw away my amazing concrete, my whole thing that you'll see at the end. Why? Because I have a 2-year-old and we're coloring all the time. So, but anyways, just see how simple this is, right? Now, when it comes to the abstract portion, I'm gonna make sure to actually teach them. So I wanna let them know a ratio and how to write a ratio. So here are the different ratio formats. There's 4 ways, okay? I say there's 4 ways because you can write it in a sentence. I tell my kiddos that, write it in a sentence. So we're gonna use that sentence frame. For every 1 yellow rod, there are 2 red ones. And then I'm gonna show them the 3 various ways. 1 with the word to, 1 colon 2, and then 1 over 2. So you have to kind of teach them that a little bit because this is again the exploring phase. We're just starting it off. We're not teaching ratios just yet. So now I'm just letting them know a little bit how to write it. So now I'm going to take it back to the video and I'm going to show you how we can actually have them do abstract. Oh, it's going to restart it, huh? All right. You guys remember how I said there was a text option, right? So it's basically that part. Okay, so see here, I went ahead and clicked the T for text. I typed in abstract, and it's very simple. There's nothing to it. It's not too difficult. It's just, I'm writing this out for every yellow rod. There are 2 red rods, okay? And then you can change the color. I went ahead and wrote the different ratio formats. If you notice here, I changed the color and I was like, oh no, that does not look good. That's not bright enough. Can you guys tell? Do you see what I mean? I wanted you guys to see like how it looks. So I just went ahead and chose black. And oh, nope, too big. So I'm just gonna leave it with the same format. And that is basically it. That is your tutorial for number pieces. So I encourage you to try this out with your kiddos. You can make your own video with your voice, right? So you can do this on Screencastify. You don't have to be on video, if you notice that. You don't your face doesn't have to be shown. You can just show it off. You can just show it off for them. Do it however you'd like, okay? So then right now, what we are going to do is time to explore. Are you guys ready? So you are going to go to number pieces and you are going to create your own examples using the rods, right? The Unifix rod or cubes, or just the 1 unit. We are comparing, don't forget, 2 quantities, which just means 2 colors, okay? So here are some examples just to show you what we're kind of looking for. I went and put student examples because these are some that the kiddos might bring up. But this is the big one. So you're going to create on your paper. It's going to be pretty simple, concrete, and you're just going to write, I interacted with number pieces to create my ratios, okay? Nothing too fancy. Representational, you're going to draw it out. And if you see here, that's how I drew it out. You can do 2 if you want. If you want to be extra, you can do 2, okay? And then of course, abstract, which is the sentence with the ratios, okay? So we're gonna let you explore, but ready? You know us, we're gonna make you do something else. A flip grid, okay? So you are my students. How do I even know you did it? How do I even know that you tried? So once you are done drawing yours out and writing it out, you're gonna go to a flip grid that is attached onto the link, and Tony is putting it on there right now. And you're gonna show me. You're gonna show me, you're gonna talk to me, and you're gonna let me know what you created and what you found. And you might just say, I have 4 green units for every 3 orange units, or for every 3 orange ones. And here are the abstract pieces, da 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 da. So, so yeah, any questions before we release you? Because we're gonna give you about a good 5-6 minutes, not too much time, but about a good 5-6 minutes. Any questions? No? Okay, we will come back about 2:30. And if you do not finish your flip grid, that is okay. But as your teacher, I will go back and I will respond to your video, because I want you to know that you are important to me, and I will tell you, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. So also on the flip grid, can you tell me what is easily doable for this lesson? Is this lesson doable? Okay. So we will see you guys back here in about 5 to 6 minutes. Oh, when you are going to do a flip grid, make sure you turn off your Zoom video and mute your Zoom, but do not log off of your Zoom, just so that flip grid can take over your video, okay? All right, you guys, have some fun. So thank you guys for working on this. I know it's not always easy to be asked to do something in a PD, but if you can at least make your paper, again, just for your kiddos, you want to hold them accountable, even if they at least have their concrete representational and abstract paper with them. The Flipgrid is a way as me, the teacher, to evaluate and kind of look and see, did they understanding the gist of it? I went ahead and added the Flipgrid code to the presentation and also the chat, just in case, because it's for some reason this one keeps popping up that it wants a code, which is fine. So hopefully now you guys are working on your Flipgrid. Okay, thank you. I am already loving all these Flipgrids that are coming in so far. I can take a look and see them populating and the kiddos coming up. I see Ms. Hobbs, she even took a picture with her CRA model. So this is really cool as the kiddos are obviously coming in and chiming in with their Flipgrids, then you can kind of just say, oh, I see so-and-so, I see somebody else popping up. Wow, what a great job. So that kind of gives you an opportunity to let them know that you're still here and you are looking through and waiting for their videos to pop up. All right, everyone. So we're going to get started and come on back. Just to let you know, I know some of you have had a couple of issues and that's okay. Just know you can always go back to a Flipgrid later so that I can kind of reply to it. Just make sure that your video is off on Zoom. And so once your video is off on Zoom, then Flipgrid will be able to kind of take over and use your video. Okay, so awesome. I am so excited and happy that you guys were able to kind of go through a quick lesson. It's not hopefully it's not too daunting, but again, share, share, share. That's all I could think about. So many colleagues, so many sixth grade teachers, teachers at your school, everybody. Like I am a big proponent of PLCs, probably because at McKinley, I was the only sixth grade teacher for a while. So I was just by myself. But PLCs are so vital and so important. So work together, learn together, share together. We just created like I said, just a little floorboard, just kind of diving in. But you guys are the masters. You guys have all the knowledge. You have way more to offer. So take what we have, try things out, tweak it, work it to your knowledge. We are going to be showing you right now a couple of things that you can be doing. You want to say this one or me? Me? Okay, so what part of the lesson would you use in your classroom? So can you respond in the chat really quick? What part of the lesson that you just went over right now, including the one with Ruth, what would you use? What so far have you liked that you are definitely going to use in your classroom?
And remember, the chat room is another way for you to interact with your students. So we were able to do a little bit of breakout room. We did the Padlet. We did Jam board. Now you can even utilize the chat room here.
Good, so I definitely see a lot of the same, right? The virtual websites, Flipgrid, breakout rooms, Jamboard. Jamboard was cool, especially now that Al, I guess like you guys call him, shared that you can use
Alex.
multiple slides, right? And so I like having the Flipgrids for checking for understanding. Padlet. Yes. It was nice to have different means of engagement. So true, because that's going to take us back to the article, right? Of how are you going to keep your kiddos engaged? And we know PDs, we need to be engaged, right? So even for us as adults, it's hard. But if we need it, then we definitely know our kiddos need it. So thank you. And now we're going to take it over to, or throw it over to Tony.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I need to give her permission to there you go. You can control it now.
So now what we're going to do is visit our EdTech Center. And Alexander, if there's anything you want to share out, please do. So our EdTech Center is going to house all of our lessons by grade and by content area. You will find Google Supports, how-to videos, and also example Google Classrooms. Girls, one of you drop the link. Oh, well, you see it on the screen, but if you want to also put it in the chat for me, please.
DFP.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to have that sucker memorized, DFP, because you're going to access everything now.
So when you go to the EdTech Center, you will see, oh man, my mouse sometimes gets a little ahead of me, the grade level lessons icon, and then there's also different icons for tutorials, for all of the, sorry,
All the different subjects.
All the different, the platforms, so some of the virtual sites that we've shown you, you'll see tutorials for those as well. The Zoom tutorial or section has some great little mini tutorials. So it says right here, it's a 45-minute long presentation, but if you don't have that time, it's broken up really nicely into specific little categories here. So again, for as much as we're using Zoom, I know some people prefer Zoom over Google Meets because of the breakout rooms. That again will provide you with some assistance if you're new to Zoom. So if you click on our grade level lessons and then click on 6th grade or another grade if you're teaching something else as well. Let's see here.
Or support staff, coaches.
There we go. Yeah,
A whole lot
support
of
staff
us.
coaches, you have access to all grades. So 6th grade here, you will see the content areas across the top here. So I'm going to, oh, sorry. So you're gonna have a little how to use the website. So how to navigate and access the resources that are here. But for now, I'm just going to click on the math. So first thing you'll see is that example 6th grade class. You'll have the class code to join that Google Classroom. You will see the key essential standards document. And this part here is highlighted because that's the bookmark. So when you go to that document, it's going to start with the key essential ELA standards. So if you utilize that bookmark, you can jump down right to page 26, which is the 6th grade math.
And some of you in the breakout rooms, I heard them. They were like, "It's still not loading. Like it might
Yeah, I
take
want
a
to say it's
while
like
to
50.
show up." Yeah.
It's close to 50, if not over 50 something pages. But what you're going to see here, sorry, my mouse is not working with me. So you'll see this overview page here. So it'll give you the lesson sequence there. And it's what we looked at earlier, what Alyssa went through. So you'll see your standards, learning intention, success criteria, the skills that are focused, your vocab. And so it has the daily presentations linked here, but they're also in our Ed Tech Center as well. So you'll see lessons 1 through 5. And just keep in mind that elementary sites, you'll see your students every day for 60 minutes for math, and middle school, it's every other day for 90 minutes. So you'll need to adjust, combine, or separate lessons as needed for your time allotments there. So you'll see all 4 weeks here. So here's week 2, the lesson document, and then you have lessons 6 through 10. So again, the first 2 weeks, that's the review. And then module 2 starts off with our 6th grade standard. So for week 3, the proportional relationships. So Alyssa went over, I believe it was the first lesson here. And then you have week 4. So again, you can see along the left-hand side here, additional options for you to explore. So the Virtual Summer Institute will house, so as you've noticed, we're recording these videos here, so those will be available to you. Alexander, do you want to jump in and share anything that I may have missed? Maybe.
Okay. For all of this stuff, you'll see that there are all the resources that are placed there with buttons and everything in the lesson sequence on the main page right over here. And then as Virtual Summer Institute comes to a close and then everybody's gotten used to looking at everything, you'll be able to see the classroom kind of like pretty nicely fleshed out with the resources and links to the presentations, so that all the stuff that you learned will kind of just be housed in a nice spot for you. And then after that, you'll be able to see what the lessons will look like after you've been exposed to them. in that sequence, and how, you could have a kind of an example. While it's not like something that you have to do exactly that way, it could be like a setup, kind of like a framework. Oh, that's a good idea. I might like to see that. So after all of Virtual Summer Institute's done and the videos are recorded and everything, you'll be able to see everything, and then you'll be able to see how, when we're talking about the number talks and all that stuff, and what would that look like if I was to give that to my students in Google Classroom, and then it will be right there, cut with it.
Perfect.
Thank you. So again, that shortener for the EdTech Center is listed in the chat. You'll want to hang on to that because that will be your one-stop shop for all of your content areas if you are a multiple subject teacher.
Can I share something? I'm gonna jump over to Zoom really quick. The little Zoom tab. I wanted to just share, and I've done this even in the ones I've been attending, the Zoom as a classroom 45-minute webinar. This is a webinar. Yes, it's 45 minutes long, but it's like legit. We'll run through the different ways of using the annotation or the annotate tools, and how you can integrate the breakout rooms and all that stuff in a real classroom setting on Zoom. So just know that if you have 45 minutes to kill and you are really feeling not that confident with Zoom, that is available. And also we have all those little videos. They've put in a lot of time to do these videos to help you guys like step by step to the process of integrating some of these virtual tools to make it easier for you to start teaching this way. At least for now, this is the way we're going to move forward. It's a little bit intimidating at times, even for me. I would consider myself a techie person, but sometimes it's kind of like, oh, this is my first time doing it, and it's the whole uncomfortableness, and being able to try something new and fail forward, guys. I think ultimately we are all on this new track of teaching virtually, and so we're all in different places. Some of us feel a little bit more confident than others. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna fail. No, of course we're not gonna fail, because anything that we fail on, we're gonna learn from and make it better the next time. So I'm kind of excited for you guys all to attempt this and all the cool stuff you will be learning. But if you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed and you have time, this is the place where you want to hang out. This website here has a lot of information, and it's being updated like constantly. Huh, Alex? Like any given time, I'm like, hey, and there they are. I mean, they're doing a great job. Big ol' kudos to them. Putting all
Yes,
the work,
Alexander, thank you.
all the work from all the teams is housed in one place. So I think we're back to, you want to go on here, Tony? Or anything else we miss?
No, let's see. So the last page here has links to a lot of the resources that we went over throughout the presentation. So the Jamboard, the Padlet, EdTech Center, the Key Essential Standards document, and the model lesson that Ruth and Alyssa walked through. Additional resources here, you'll have some ELD strategies. So it'll just give you a little quick description on what the strategy is and what it looks like. And also, if you have your academic conversations book from the previous school year, or even couple of years we've been doing that, it has great strategies in there for middle school classrooms. So some of them could even be modified for our virtual classroom. The math conversation placemat here, it's just some sample prompts and response starters, but they're specific to math. So you'll see the icons that we use for our language routines. They're attached to these as well, so that might look familiar to you. And then the last one is the article that Alyssa was talking about with in terms of increasing student engagement, various ideas there. So Alyssa just dropped the link for the presentation in the chat. And we encourage you to revisit that district digital parking lot. So again, if after listening to all this, you have some concerns on how you're going to make it all work, maybe resources that may or may not be lacking, feel free to add those concerns, questions, or comments to that digital parking lot, and even just maybe just save that digital parking lot. So even as things are constantly changing daily, you might not have something right now, but you do have a question or concern at a later time. You can always add that to the document. So we will be dropping in the evaluation and sign out. So Alyssa just posted the evaluation. And again, both of these need to be completed prior to leaving us. Ladies, anything else you'd like to add?
No, evaluation will give us feedback. So we know what's going on. And then the sign out, that's the one they're using to get you paid. And it is timestamp, and we made it 10 minutes till, so we're good.
I just want to say again, thank you guys. This was so much fun, and hopefully we have alleviated some of that stress just by a little bit. I know it's overwhelming, but at least it's a starting point. And I ended my Bitmoji today with "You are essential" because I really just feel like we need that. Like, we are essential. Do not forget that, no matter what stuff you are hearing right now out there in the news or social media or whatever, just know that you are essential and have resources, and you will be the amazing BCSD teacher that we know you are.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. We
Thanks for
appreciate
joining us.
you. And you
We
guys,
will
this is going to
remain
be
on-
great. Virtual learning it is. Let's do it.
Whoop, whoop.
If you have any additional questions, you can throw them in there, do the eval, and then as soon as you're done with both the eval and the sign out, you guys are free to go. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. And if you have one more training, I guess you can go to that. If you don't, and you're free like me, I'm going to go do some grocery shopping. I don't know how fun that's going to be, but I got to get it done. But besides that, thank you so much.
Thank you for everything.
Thanks for joining us, Cassie. Good luck. Reach out anytime.
Yes. So the question of finding the presentation, just make a copy of it. The link was shared in the chat, or we can go back to the slide that has it on there. Is it this one? Nope, that one.
One more.
There it is. And then once you hop on, then just make a copy.
And it'll add it to your drive.
Right.
Or even just save that code, the DS3.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that all of you did a great job, amazing job. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Noemi. Thanks, Jeanette. Take care. Reach out.
Ooh, yes. So Alex said he can actually put it in our on the site.
Thank you, Alex.
See, it pays off to have connections.
I was like, I wonder if there's a way to put it on our, yeah, okay. Hey, well, I have to go attend the ELA one, so I'm gonna leave you girls. But
I got you.
everything has been amazing. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
awesome. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for sticking around, guys.
You'll be all ready for math, Alexander.
Yes. He's so funny. He was PE and history at Sequoia. Now he's going to self-contained.